The Philadelphia Phillies are quietly becoming a superpower. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Bat for Baseball, the baddest baseball podcast on the internet. I'm Adam Peddle, joined alongside by Nicholas Paleolog. I've been saying all year long, the whole MLB is kind of weak. There's no true superpower, but when you look at the NL East and you quietly see the Phillies still doing what they're doing, they keep winning, they keep demanding that lead in the NL East, they're becoming a superpower. When you look at what they've been doing lately, my goodness, it is phenomenal, especially missing some key pieces. We're going to take a look at their team to kind of predict to see where they're going to end up in this postseason.
Is this their year?
And I was going to get to, is this their year? And because their year might be this year, because they might not have another year after that. But before we get into it, guys, make sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button. Yeah, Phillies, man. You know, they've been good. We've been watching them go in deep postseason runs, but it always felt like there was an LA Dodger or a New York Met or some other team kind of getting in their way. But this year, it doesn't really feel like there is that team. The only other team in the MLB that's better than them is the Milwaukee Brewers. And we can make some arguments about the Milwaukee Brewers, whether they're going to survive in the postseason or not, because they haven't done it before. But this feels like a good chance for the Phillies to make a deep run this year.
They got as good a chance as anyone right now, man. Sitting with 86 wins in terms of all MLB right now. That is the second best record in baseball. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and I was taking a look at the last 10s of everybody, and honestly, that's the best, the best last 10 in baseball, which is kind of wild.
Other than the White Sox,
but I was looking at playoff teams, and in terms of the playoff teams, they are the hottest team right now. They won the last 3 games in a row. Their run differential is plus 122. They're good at beating teams over 500. They're just across the board a really strong squad. But when you look over at a recent article that MLB posted, this was actually literally this morning. This is the top favorites in terms of just winning the World Series in general. You would think that the second best record in MLB and the team that is, the best in the last 10 and has a lot of name value on there would be right up there, but they got the Dodgers, they got the Yankees, believe it or not.
That's stupid.
That is kind of stupid.
They're not playing great baseball.
No, they're not. They're definitely not. But they got the Yankees there, they got the Blue Jays ahead, they got the Brewers ahead, and then they bring in the Phillies, and honestly, they don't talk too well about how the Phillies' chances are going to look right now. So for me, I just think about this Phillies team, and I think that honestly we're doing a disservice by not talking about them more, because when I was deep diving in some of the numbers there, there was a lot of stuff to like about this squad right now.
Yeah, they're doing really good. Overall, man, you look at the offense, and it's just like the Phillies of the past. They're a top 10 offense in all of baseball.
Everything.
In everything, right? Yeah, third in average, third in on base, fourth in OPS, ninth in runs scored, and literally 10th in home runs, and ninth in stolen bases. Credit to Trey Turner and a few other guys for that. But yeah, the lineup has been this team's bread and butter for a long time. You've got Harrison Bader at the top. Kyle Schwarber, my goodness, is having a phenomenal season. I just want to flash over real quick to his stuff. You got 10 stolen bases, but the 50 homers for the guy. You talk about Kyle Raleigh with the big home runs. This guy is not that far away. Then you got Bryce Harper back from injury, doing well. Real Muto's in there, Marsh, Kepler. They got a really deep lineup. And you pair that up with the starting pitching. Without Zach Wheeler, they're still doing very good.
Yeah, without Zach Wheeler, and from my understanding of things, Aaron Nola kind of sucks these days.
Yeah.
So it's the two guys that you walked in with thinking it's oh, these are going to be our studs. That's just not the case at all. And in fact, you're having these other contributions from across, Christopher Sanchez, Lizardo, Ranger Suarez. And in fact, since Zach Wheeler has gone down, those 3 individuals, Lizardo, Suarez, and Sanchez, they have combined for a 2.28 ERA over 79 innings, 100 strikeouts. Just across the board, you are getting ace level production from all 3 of them, and that right now is becoming their playoff rotation. And I mean, a rotation like that where, you do have a 2.28 ERA. They've only given up 2 home runs.
That's crazy.
In 79 innings.
That's phenomenal.
That's insane. Between the 3 of them, right? So that rotation to me is going to be a very serious playoff threat right there once you're in October.
Yeah, and then they need it, right? Because, you're thinking wow, you lose Zach Wheeler, there goes their ace. But, hey, as long as you can get good starting pitching, you can get it done. And you pair that up with the great offense offense that has been hot as of late. Look at that. Kyle Schwarber, like we mentioned, 940 OPS since the All-Star break. Harrison Bader showing up. This guy could show up from time to time and give you a lot of offensive productions. He's not just a glove. Brandon Marsh has been elite. Trey Turner, he's going for the hit leads. Now that Bo Bichette's at the IL, probably up for grabs for him. Then Bryce Harper. Stott is doing well as well. The offense getting hot at the right time. Pair up with the good pitching. The one thing they do need to worry about, I guess, like they've been worrying about for the last 5 to 10 years, is the bullpen. Still 21st in ERA. They did make a trade for Johan Duran, and he has been absolutely lights out dominant. Strom's been great too, but that's kind of it for them in the last little bit. So they have to try to manage to get to the deep part of the deep part of the bullpen. So they have to go deep into games as starting pitchers if they want to get to those dudes.
Yes, exactly. Now I will make a mild correction there on the hit leader. So Bo Bichette leading the league in hits. Trey Turner chasing him down. However, he also is now dealing with an injury. So he had he had a hamstring thing go down, and I believe he might have just went on the 10-day IL as well. So it's actually it's actually really interesting to see like who is going to be leading the entire league.
Watch Aaron Judge come in and just fucking take it all.
You know what? It genuinely might be, but I mean, fingers crossed for the Phillies that they get Trey Turner back prior to the postseason. I think they're actually going through something very similar as to what the Toronto Blue Jays are going through. Funnily enough, your star shortstop, who's been awesome for you all season long, goes on the 10-day IL right before playoffs. I was just reading an article saying that everyone is very optimistic, though, and that he should be back for postseason. So that's going to be great because having him in that lineup is obviously crucial. Now, looking at this stretch for the Phillies prior to the playoffs, it doesn't matter too much because at this point, I mean, I think they got the division relatively locked up, but you are still playing for that bye because those guys right there, the LA Dodgers, they are going to want a piece of that if they can do it. They finish off their series against the Mets, which, by the way, they've beat them 3 times in a row. This is a 4-game series, and they have whooped the Mets' ass 3 games in a row right there in all different fashions. You have a 1-0 win on Monday, and then a shit kicking on Wednesday of 11-3.
Another shit kicking on Tuesday.
So they're just beating them in every way possible. They could sweep them in a 4-game series here, which honestly would just could be the end, honestly, of the New York Mets. But then you got Kansas City, who's going to be tough. LA for certain. However, after that, you get a very easy final. What is that? 9 games right there against the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are out of this thing, the Marlins, who are out of this thing, and the Twins, who are out of this thing. As it stands right now, I'm looking at this Philly squad, and I see bye.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm seeing a team that has a legit chance to go all the way this year. Because when I'm looking at the bye right there, okay, great. Now you got 2 less round or 1 less round you got to go through. You just got to go through the NLDS, NLCS, and to the World Series. And again, the only real threat for me that's sticking out is the Milwaukee Brewers maybe for the Phillies, but again, like if they keep up this and they are hot right now, they have a best chance. All about the who's hot going into postseason for me. I like the Phillies going to the World Series this year. I'm not gonna lie, like I see what the Brewers are doing, I see it, but like it's one of those things where I have to see it to believe it, and I have never seen it, so I can't believe it.
I have seen the Phillies. Dodgers in there as well.
I'll throw the Dodgers, but I do love what the Phillies are doing. I think on paper this year in the stats, Phillies, I like a lot better than the Dodgers this year.
Those are the 3 teams for me when I think about who's coming out of the NL. I don't really see the Padres at this current juncture in time. I mean, the Mets, like they've completely collapsed, you know. But this is really important for the Philadelphia Phillies to do this season, because when we think about a lot of those players on their current team, there's a lot of individuals who are either getting older or their contracts are going to be expiring. This is their current payroll for 2026, and as you can see, there's a lot of free agents there and a lot of guys who are very important. JT Realmuto, I mean, I know that he's not the same guy that he used to be. He's playing well since the second half, but that's still your starting catcher who's been your catcher for a long period of time, knows your pitching staff, calls a great game. That's going to be a big blow to them if they lose that guy. Kyle Schwarber, 50 home runs. That is a lot of home runs to just take out of that lineup, right? So they're going to either need to get him back, or if not, I mean, that's a major blow. Max Kepler's been incredible for them recently. Ranger Suarez is their ace. So there is so many. Jordan Romano can go. We can get rid of Jordan. He can leave.
These guys can all go.
But honestly, though, like there's a lot of key contributions right there who are leaving, and then you think about the ages of some of these guys too. Bryce Harper's not getting any younger, and he's still phenomenal. He's still Bryce Harper. He's got an 875 OPS in the second half. So ever since he got through those injuries at the start of the season, he has been the Bryce Harper of old. But still, 32 years old, still has never won never won a ring before. So it feels like we are running out of chances right now, and this could be the best opportunity that the Phillies have for potentially another couple years.
Yeah, if I'm a Phillies fan, you got to recognize that. I'm sure Phillies fans do know that, like, probably the time is running out. This is the only opportunity. This may be the only opportunity you got, because you can't replace Kyle Schwarber unless he comes back on like a 1 year, 2 year deal. You can't do it, right? And Real Muto, again, you make a great point. Who's going to catch if he doesn't come back on a 1 year deal? So this is the last chance it feels like the Phillies got, and honestly, it might be their best chance because of how weak it is right now in the NL and in the AL. I feel like whatever NL team goes to the World Series is going to be the ultimate favorite to win it all.
They will probably be the favorite, because when you're thinking about the American League, like, I just don't like, the Yankees have been playing good ball in the second half, but they're kind of flawed. The Toronto Blue Jays right now, they're slowing down and stumbling a little bit in the postseason. You think about the Tigers. I mean, they've also shown that they have some problems over there as well. So if the Phillies can get that bye, and then they got to cross their fingers. I think this is going to be key. They get the bye, they cross their fingers that shit hits the fan for the LA Dodgers, and they get knocked in the wild card. Because if that happens, then I genuinely believe it's Phillies all the way.
Because let's say they're going to take the second bye right there. You'd be Dodgers versus Mets as of right now. If somehow the Dodgers get kicked by the Mets, I mean, we're just seeing the Phillies do dominance over the Mets in this past week. And then you got Chicago, and then you got Padres. Well, that's it. That's your path.
And for the Phillies, correct me if I'm wrong, but if that would happen, because they're the second bye team, they would play the Mets.
Yeah,
and
they would play the Mets.
Just absolutely destroyed the Mets.
They would play the Mets.
And then it's like,
after
all right.
that, it's like, Chicago, Padres, or Brewers. Like, I think the Phillies have a great chance.
Yes.
I really do think they got a great chance to win the World Series, and I do think this is the year.
For real. Guys, let us know your thoughts about all this in the comments down below. Please make sure to hit that like, smash that subscribe button, everybody, and we will catch you next time.
Cheers.